UCLA's alumni squad, the Sons of Westwood. Alongside former NCAA head coach Richie Schuler, I'm Sam Farmer. It's a pleasure and a privilege to have you with us here today. Richie, a lot of the guys on the floor for this game are going to know each other, whether they played in college or play in the Drew League. Very competitive basketball, always coming from LA, and it's coming here to Utah today.
One of the meccas of basketball, Los Angeles, and here we are, two teams going head-to-head. And how unique is it that they're playing against each other here in the TBT in the first round?
Yeah, just about everyone but Kawhi, Paul George, LeBron, and AD from LA will be here today. Here's a look at the bracket. We saw a thriller to open things up with Everline Drive coming from behind to knock off Team Utah. They'll take on the winner of this one tomorrow in round 2. Later today, Team Fredette versus another Drew League squad, the City Team Blazers. Then we wrap things up with the 2017 runners-up Challenge ALS taking on the Utah State alumni squad, the Utah Stallions. Take a look at the rules here for TBT 2019. We'll have 4 9-minute quarters. The fouls, you've got 6 personals to use before you're disqualified from competition. The 5th foul of each quarter will turn into the bonus situation, and it's an automatic 2 free throws from that point on. Goaltending, we're using the international version, Richie.
Yeah, FIBA rules. It's not quite the same as it is here, and not on free throws, but on live play. Throughout the course of your regular offense, the defense can touch the ball as soon as it hits the rim.
4 total timeouts, 3:30 seconds, 1:60. You have to use 1 in the first half or you lose it. And then the Elam ending, which has already provided a lot of excitement. First dead ball under 4 minutes. Shot, the game clock goes off, add 8 to the leading team score, and that's the number to win. And what a opening contest we had here in Salt Lake City, where the Elam ending completely changed the game.
It was amazing. Everline Drive, the TBT runner-ups a year ago. And by the way, this region has 2 of them. You have Everline Drive and Team Challenge ALS, the last 2 TBT runner-ups, but they were down by 12 when that target score was set. They clawed their way back. Team Utah did not play their best basketball, although they had played well the previous 36 minutes. Didn't play well during that Elam-ending target score time. But I tell you what, man, Everline Drive knows how to win, and that's why they're another championship contender.
All right, time to get into our starting lineups presented by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities with the Air Force Reserve. Sons of Westwood will have Jordan Adams, Malcolm Lee, Matt Shaw, Ernest Aflakwi, and Wanabal. All of them have some kind of UCLA tie-in. They'll take on the LA Cheaters, which features some recent Pac-12 talent, including Cedric Bearfield out of the University of Utah. He's playing here in his home state. Will Davis II, who last year had a decent tournament playing for Kimchi Express. He'll be out there. And then the sharpshooter, Elijah Stewart, USC's all-time 3-point field goal leader. Both these teams lost some of their key players before the tournament got going for various reasons, but there's still a lot of talent on the floor.
Absolutely, and that's what the TBT brings. Again, this TBT in the 6 years of existence is by far the most talented. So many people from the NBA, almost 70 players that have played in the NBA. A lot of teams, over 20 alumni teams like this Sons of Westwood. It makes you wonder, Sons of Westwood, are we going to see some of the bigger former UCLA names down the road playing for Sons of Westwood? And the LA Cheaters, a very good team in the Drew League, in the Summer League, putting their team together, run by Casper Ware.
LA Cheaters, if you're looking for some of the guys that aren't here, Casper Ware Jr., who is a Drew League legend in his own right, he is not out there. His father, Casper Ware Sr., is their head coach, who is just an absolute legend in the Drew League.
Yep.
On the other side for Sons of Westwood, they're missing quite a few players. The Ware twins were supposed to play. They're not available this weekend. Isaac Hamilton kind of been on again, off again with the roster. In fact, it's gotten to the point now where Sons of Westwood only has 6 players here.
That's a shame. I thought we were going to see a couple really good players that weren't able to make it. Talking about Isaac Hamilton and Larry Drew II.
So right now they're trying to get the official stats synced up for here in game 2. And that's the momentary delay before LA Cheaters in gray and Sons of Westwood in baby blue will get out there on the floor. Sons of Westwood, a nice homage to the baby blue of UCLA. I like the unis. And LA Cheaters. What do you think of the uniforms here for game 2, Richie?
I like all the uniforms. The TBT does a phenomenal job with the uniforms. This open application tournament in year 6, all gunning in this region, in the other 7 regions, for the TBT Championship Week in Chicago next week, actually, August 1st through 6th. But this open application has allowed players of all kinds, people from neighborhoods, people from alumni teams, a bunch of buddies, in this case the Drew League and the LA Cheaters, to come together, compete for a spot in one of the regions, and then boom, play it out on national television. And John Mugar has done a phenomenal job, who runs and founded the TBT.
And we just can't speak highly enough for where the basketball tournament has come from. You think back to their original season in 2014, there were a lot of just random groups. It was basically like, hey, Richie and his announcer friends want to have a team. Cool, Richie and his announcer friends are going to play for $1 million. Go for it, guys. And now, as we saw already today, Team Utah, an 8 seed. This is an alumni group from Utah at stages when they were in the Mountain West and Pac-12. All these guys can play.
Yep.
We've seen an 8 seed not just win a game in their region, we've seen an 8 seed win their regional here in TBT 2019. So this is a different level of basketball for this edition of the basketball tournament. We can't wait to get game 2 started. We're going to let the anticipation hang in just a moment longer. Back with game 2 after this.
If we have more time to kill, I can talk again about Everline Drive start.
Sure.
Because it was leading to that, but then.
Yeah. I don't know. I think him. Or maybe, I don't know. Oh, I think they're trying to reset it still. Back to Salt Lake City, Maverick Center, home of TBT 2019 regional action. And right now we're still waiting on the official stats to get loaded up here for game 2. Game 1, what a thriller we had. Eberline Drive versus Team Utah. Eberline Drive was down 4 when the Elam ending started. They were down 8 when the 4th quarter started. They were facing elimination, possession after possession after possession, then finally got a shot to win it, and Jerome Randall knocked it down.
I called it, Sam. You asked me who's going to win. I said, I'm feeling Jerome Randall is going to hit a 3-point shot, and that he did. But how about the journey of Eberline Drive? They've been in the tournament ever since the beginning. This is a cul-de-sac, a street, Eberline Drive in suburban Detroit. And Jacob Hirschman, the GM, put this thing together in year 1. And they got stuck playing all his childhood friends. Smush Parker's team, the Big Apple basketball. Well, at some point in that game, Jacob Hirschman got slammed on by Smush Parker, where he had to come out of the game. And Sports Illustrated ended up dubbing the team the lost cause of the TBT. They were awful. And then, you know what? Last year they went on to go all the way into the championship game and lost to the Dynasty Overseas Elite, who's won 4 straight so far.
It's something special. They've moved on to round 2. They'll take on the winner of our next matchup, Sons of Westwood and the LA Cheaters. Hope to have it for you when we return to Salt Lake City. All right, at long last, we are ready to play. LA Cheaters and the Sons of Westwood on the floor and ready to go here in Game 2 of our Salt Lake City Regional. Sam Farber, Richie Schuler here with you. It is the Sons of Westwood, the UCLA alumni squad, in the Baby Blues versus the LA Cheaters in the Grays. And one of the staff members for Sons of Westwood joked to me during the build-up to the tournament that this might be like the stepsons of Westwood, because it's seen a lot of attrition from some of the better-known alumni that were originally a part of the team, but they still have enough to certainly compete here.
Well, the LA Cheaters coming out swarming. Big three-point shot, and then they're pressing full court, trying to wear down this team of only 6 players, Sons of Westwood.
Jordan Adams hits a bucket. You mentioned Braxton Huggins, who hit the 3, and Huggins held up a foul on Malcolm Lee. Fouls and energy are some things we're going to have to keep an eye on here for the Sons of Westwood. They only have 6 players. They're 6 very talented players, but not a whole lot of wiggle room for this squad. This is Elijah Stewart, USC's all-time leader in made threes. And he made quite a few of them against UCLA teams, so he's got to be excited about this. Nice drop pass. Will Davis II with the lay-in.
Well, Will Davis II was really good for Kimchi Express last year. We called those games. 18 points, 14 boards, and actually shot 43% from threes a year ago.
Adams missed the 3, but the offensive board for a Flakpui. Now a takeaway for the Cheaters. Bearfield, the Utah sharpshooter, knocks it down. And now it's steal and another follow-up lay-in. Braxton Huggins. A quick 5 and a timeout taken by the Sons of Westwood. Let's go ahead and take an early listen in here inside the huddle presented by Fufu Basketball with Sons of Westwood.
Just stay in the middle. Once you go there, we'll look down. Okay, we got a double big situation. Okay, they're going look like zone. You see the man, just set up and set ball screen and play. Okay, they got guys who can shoot. We gotta get out there. 1, 2, 3 zone on the break. 1, 2, 3 zone.
That's Martin Bahar. I think is listed as an assistant coach for this team originally, but he's obviously taken over head duties here for this round 1 game. He is actually an assistant coach for USC, so Sons of Westwood really scrambling to get the finishing touches on this team in time for tournament play.
It's got to be a bit devastating for Sons of Westwood. You had a roster that was really good, and all of a sudden you've got 5 guys not playing on the original roster. In those 5 guys, you have some NBA experience, you have some extremely high-level overseas professional players, guys with terrific college careers. Now you're down to 6 guys.
8 on the shot clock for Sons of Westwood. Malcolm Lee, nice pass. And a better block at the back end. Sticking with it, putting it through is Ernest Flakpui. Flakpui, actually not a UCLA alum. He's a former Temple Owl.
How about that? You know, Sons of Westwood tries to bring guys together who played UCLA basketball. They kind of have that family atmosphere there. And the LA Cheaters, though, a Drew League team. Drew League, if you don't know what that is, it's a summer basketball league, indoor league in Los Angeles every year that's been going for decades. And it's become huge. It has sponsorships, sellout crowds, a lot of NBA guys come and play in it. Well, the LA Cheaters, a lot of these guys play on that team, and they play together. And they have chemistry where these Sons of Westwood guys, maybe they got a couple practices in before the tournament. But there's no way they have the chemistry in the organization that the LA Cheaters have, because they've played together, you know, once a week during the summers.
Inbounds play goes right to Davis, and he scores the lay-in. And it's an early 12-4 advantage for the LA Cheaters.
I mean, look at this. This is good. They're organized. This is an organized team. A 2-2-1 press. They're going to trap at half court. I mean, this is a legitimate squad in the LA Cheaters.
Three on the way from Lee. He drains it. People think in the Drew League, I think they think back to kind of the lockout time when James Harden and Kobe Bryant and all these big NBA superstars, Kevin Durant just showed up at this the random gym in the Drew League and started to play. But the core of it are teams like the Cheaters that work hard and play very organized team basketball in an effort to win that league title year after year. So, you know, what people perceive the Drew League to be and what it actually is could be two different things.
And, you know, James Harden still goes back and plays every year. And when he's playing, I've been there where I've watched him like the third row. But when it comes to the tournament, after the regular season is over and they have tournament, good luck getting a spot in that gym. The fire marshal will kick you out real quick because that thing packs super quick.
3 on the inbounds play for Elijah Stewart, USC's all-time 3 leader. Hits one against the UCLA alumni squad. 15-9 the score in favor of the Cheaters, who've already hit 3 threes today. Lee into the lane, and an and-one opportunity for Malcolm Lee. He's one of the Bruins alumni with some NBA experience on this team.
Well, did a really good job of hesitation and attacking the basket. Sons of Westwood don't have many bodies. They got one guy on the bench, but the guys they have are pretty good. So it's going to be a matter of, can they sustain a high level of play throughout 4 quarters? Because if not, you know, LA Cheaters with that deep bench they have, they're going to take full advantage.
Lee completes the and one. Got a 1-possession game, early action here. LA Cheaters and Sons of Westwood. Each squad trying to make this the first of 6 wins on the way to the $2 million winner-take-all grand prize at the end of TBT 2019. Cedric Bearfield had his pocket picked, trying to go coast to coast. Here comes the Sons of Westwood. Adams backing his way down, and a whistle. 5:18 left here in the first quarter. Sam Farber, Richie Schuler here with you in the Beehive State, with kind of an all-LA feel to this round 1 matchup. Some of the later action will have one of our host teams, Team Fredette, taking on another Drew League squad in City Team Blazers, and then the 2017 runners-up Challenge ALS will play Utah Stallions, a Utah State alumni team. Both offenses have slowed kind of simultaneously. Lead is 3 for the Cheaters. Long rebound, chased down by Cedric Bearfield, one of the Utah alums involved in this tournament.
Really like the way Bearfield's handling this game. I mean, he's pushing the ball. He's knocking down 3-point shots. He seems to be the heart and soul of the squad so far.
Elijah Stewart hits his second 3.
I appreciate the organization. Unmade shots, they get right into their zone press. And what that does, it takes time off the shot clock, and if you're lucky enough to get a trap crossing half court, well, even better off. But this team is organized. You know how hard it is to train your players on made shots to go right into a zone press? Everybody's so used to scoring, and then you got like 1-2 seconds to get your mind right as you go down the floor. These guys are trained to go right into the zone press, and it's making an impact so far.
Fouls on Will Davis II. At the line, Jordan Adams hits the first of 2. Adams, a first-round pick in 2014. It's taken 22nd overall. NBA career has only been 32 games so far. Last year he played in the Syrian League, averaged 18 points per game. Talking last game a little bit about, there's a lot of players who, if they're not in the NBA or the G League, they've been playing professionally overseas. What thoughts do you have on the Syrian League and the level of play out there?
I honestly don't know a whole lot about the Syrian League, to be honest with you.
I know Jordan Adams scored 18 points a game in it.
I'm sure I'm sure it's competitive. If he played there, he's not going to go to a bad league. It's Jordan Adams. He can play basketball.
Run out for the Cheaters, and Davis, a little hand behind the head for the one-handed flush.
UC Irvine alum. Just a lot of length on this LA Cheaters team. A lot of length, good athleticism, organization, big-time scores, a balance of power on the floor.
Adams, another bucket. He's got 8 points. He's got the game high so far, but Sons of Westwood trailing by 6 in round 1 of TBT 2019. Elijah Stewart missed the 3. Lee into the lane, kicks it out. 3 from Smith. Rebound by the Cheaters. Stewart will bring it up. Cheaters want to run. Lob for Davis, and he couldn't quite find the handle. We'll turn it over to the Sons of Westwood. Well, that would have been a potential highlight, but, you know, Will Davis II has already got 1 so far.
He gives highlights. He's known to be a big-time defender, but you're seeing his ability to score the basketball, too, and just using his athleticism with the hand behind the head.
TBT 2019, the $2 million winner-take-all basketball tournament is presented by Puma Basketball. 22-16, LA Cheaters leading the Sons of Westwood. You can see a kind of lonely bench there for the guys in baby blue. Only 1 sub available for the Sons of Westwood. They might be tempted to suit up a coach.
Is it too late?
I think it might be.
Yeah.
No jersey made for them. But in any case, they are definitely playing shorthanded right now against a LA Cheaters squad that not only has the quantity of players, but quality capable of making a run in this tournament.
I like what I see so far in the LA Cheaters. And they're a team at the 5th seed, as the 5th seed. What we see so far, I mean, they have the makings of potentially making a run to championship week in Chicago.
We're exactly 1 week away from that grouping of the final 8 teams for TBT 2019 to get things underway in Chicago. Traveling on Cedric Bearfield turns it over to the Sons of Westwood, who last year lost a team challenge ALS in the LA region. You mentioned it before, the pool of talent that the Sons of Westwood has to draw from in the UCLA alumni group, it's fantastic.
They're loaded. I mean, the Sons of Westwood group isn't loaded, but I tell you, UCLA, that's a good putback rebound by Matt Shaw. But UCLA, I mean, how many great players have come out of UCLA? I mean, you could suit up Bill Walton even. Okay, I'm joking. But they do have a lot of great players from the last, what, 10, 15 years, even just a year or two ago. You know what I mean? Maybe they could bring back the Ball brother that was on the team temporarily.
Get Lonzo, LiAngelo, and
not Lonzo, the middle one.
Okay.
LiAngelo, right? Yeah, he was on the team for 4 months. We could bring him back.
LA Cheaters with a 3-point lead coming up on 2 minutes left in the opening quarter. Seen some sharp shooting from Elijah Stewart and some dunking by Will Davis.
I think a smart move right here, trying to go zone. Try to use some clock, not expend as much energy.
Davis, a nice pass underneath to a wide open Van Gerard. Gerard, second year in the TBT, hasn't played since 2015, but when he did, he was a 20-point-per-game guy. Now we've got Irvin Ware called for stepping on the baseline. Irvin, the brother of Casper Ware Jr. and son of GM head coach and Drew League legend Casper Ware Sr.
Well, just imagine how much different this LA Cheaters team would be, even more improved, if Casper Ware was playing. He had a professional obligation. He's out of the country. So potentially he'll be back in uniform if the LA Cheaters can advance, especially if they can advance to Chicago next week.
We're going to review this, see if Irvin Ware did in fact step over the baseline. Now, the winner of this one will take on Eberline Drive, which won an absolute thriller against Team Utah. And just based off seedings, both these teams are supposed to be significantly better than Team Utah, so you would assume that they'd be able to give Eberline Drive a good contest. Team Utah did have some advantages over both these teams, Sons of Westwood, in terms of depth, and the LA Cheaters, you know, a couple of big-name guys for Team Utah. Not that they're not here for the LA Cheaters, but on the roster versus in play are two different things.
Right, and that's the thing, is that you never know if some guys are coming from different places. It's not like a professional team or a college team. Oh, you don't want to foul a three-point shooter. Or like a high school team or an international team. They're not like they're all together at once. In the TBT, you have guys coming from different places, so at times travel issues may stop a player from being able to make it. So these rosters are set, and at the last minute somebody may not be able to make the team. So there are those kind of issues, and I think, you know, we will see that throughout the course of the day.
First of three goes down for Jordan Adams. His winning share will be sent with Zell of the $2 million in this winner-take-all tournament. One thing to factor in is we see Jordan Adams' share to be $180,000 of the $2 million grand prize. But one thing to factor in, you mentioned it a little bit, players are responsible to get themselves to the opening regional site. So both these teams are more or less LA based. They got to pay for travel, they got to pay for hotels, they got to take care of everything coming here to Utah, and it's only if they go to Chicago that some of those expenses get covered.
That's right. So you've got to hope and pray that everybody can make it. And if you're at full strength in the regional rounds, the first, second, third round, well, you have a much better chance, obviously, of going to Chicago. This Sons of Westwood team is absolutely depleted. Depleted, and for various reasons. And this is not the same squad that was on paper even just a week ago.
Malcolm Lee penetrates the entire LA Cheaters defense and lays it in. Lee and Adams are far and away the two most talented guys on this Sons of Westwood squad in attendance today, and they've got 19 of the team's 24 and have things all even with the Cheaters. Well, Davis will change that. He hits his fourth field goal of the first quarter. Now Lee trying to leave it off, and it's a turnover. Bearfield, the Utah alum, back in his home state for college. Great look down low to Davis, who's bear hugged by Gerald Smith. Now, Smith is a former UCLA player, but kind of an interesting route. He was a walk-on with the men's team, and before that he was a practice player for the women's team. But someone who bleeds Westwood blue and gold more than most. I mean, that's a lot of work to put in to be on the team. And now representing the squad here on the Sons of Westwood.
20 games in his career, Gerald Smith. We're talking about number 15 there on the left of your screen. 20 games as a walk-on in 2 years, but hey, he was part of that Sweet 16 appearance. And it's a great opportunity for him to get some big minutes here with the way the roster is for Sons of Westwood.
Cheaters got about a 3-second game clock, shot clock differential, so they're just going to let things whittle down here. 7 on the shot clock, 10 on the game clock. Drive, the floater, and it goes down for Braxton Huggins. Sons of Westwood don't realize that they're out of time, and Lee's just going to hoist after the horn. Didn't realize that they were at their final shot of the quarter. Malcolm Lee says, my bad. LA Cheaters say, my lead. 28-24, the Drew League squad leading the UCLA alumni team here in round 1 of the $2 million winner-take-all TBT.
TBT is taking over Chicago for championship week. 8 teams, single elimination, $2 million, winner take all. August 1st through the 6th at Wintrust Arena. Visit thetournament.com/tickets to secure your seats today.
Overseas Elite has claimed the grand prize each of the last 4 years. Will there be a changing of the guard here in 2019? I know both the LA Cheaters and Sons of Westwood would love for that to happen, as they're in their opening round action. A tight one, 4-point game, as we are just getting underway, and the clock was a little slow to start, so they're going to reset things back to 9 minutes. First quarter action, LA Cheaters were really in control, but Sons of Westwood did a good job getting to the line and knocking down free throws. 7 of 7 at the charity stripe, kept them in the game.
All things considered, Sons of Westwood with 6 players doing a terrific job of being in this ballgame. LA Cheaters, I mean, they're very organized as a group. They did take off their zone press, and it allowed it to just be a half-court game for the Sons of Westwood on offense. But I don't know if that made a difference or what, but I tell you, Sons of Westwood, I'm impressed. It looked like early when it was 10-2 that LA Cheaters were going to run away big in the beginning of the game.
LA Cheaters making some subs to start the second quarter, including Keith Kloss, who is a Drew League legend of sorts, and certainly someone with a long, glorified history in the game of basketball. 7'3". He's 43 years old. Played with the LA Clippers all the way back in 1997 to 2000, still playing professional basketball. He averaged 11 points per game in Germany last year.
It's amazing he's still playing at 7'3". Keith Kloss. Here's a great story on him, though. He played at Central Connecticut, okay? He only played 2 years there. He was a first-teamer. As a sophomore, he was 13 and 9 a game, go along with 6 blocks. He led all of Division I in blocks per game both his years there, freshman and sophomore years. Still, to this day, holds the record for the highest career block shots average, previously held by David Robinson at 5.9 per game. That's incredible. 2 years, and then went to the NBA.
He's out there on the floor for the LA Cheaters, who hold a 4-point lead on Sons of Westwood. Round 1 of our $2 million winner-take-all, the basketball tournament 2019. 3 on the way from Malcolm Lee, and that rattles home. Malcolm Lee and Jordan Adams have 22 of the team's 27 points. Drive by Huggins, and the floater is short. Rebound, Jordan Adams. Sons of Westwood last year won a game. They had similar issues last year where, you know, they had a very talented roster coming into the tournament and then couldn't organize everyone to quite get there. And that year, they were playing in Los Angeles, so coming to Salt Lake City is a little tougher. Drive by Gerard and lay it in.
I remember that team last year. Sons of Westwood had Leland King, who just came off a great season with UC Santa Barbara.
There were rumors that Matt Barnes might play for them last year.
I mean, those are the kind of big names that would be great for Sons of Westwood here in the TBT. I mean, UCLA, if they're going to be an alumni team, they can really have some incredible talent, enough talent to win the whole thing based on players who have come through the program.
If you're putting together your team, you mentioned you want to see Bill Walton.
Yep, I do.
Who else is playing on your ideal UCLA alumni TBT squad?
Oh, man, that's a loaded question with a lot of great players. You start. You tell me first.
I asked you the question.
I
You're
want
the
to
analyst.
see. That's true. You assume that I watch a lot of UCLA basketball.
43-year-old Keith Kloss with a rejection.
He's going to play till he's 50.
Bearfield, a little hung up there on the attempt. Fun thing watching Keith Kloss out there playing at 43. See a lot of young players who got ankles taped and knee braces. Keith Kloss looks like he just picked some socks out of the drawer, they handed him a jersey, and here he is playing.
He only wore high tops because they made him. He was going to wear Chuck Taylors.
3 on the way.
Converse All-Stars.
Huggins unable to connect. The offense is slowed here to start the second quarter. Malcolm Lee measuring things. This is honestly the pace that the Sons of Westwood would be comfortable with, especially being as short-handed as they are. It's basically been a half-court game.
I think Sons of Westwood, all things considered, a great job here. Great job. So you're seeing all these subs come in, 2 subs in, 2 subs out. Sons of Westwood doesn't even have 2 subs. I mean, wouldn't that be a story if Sons of Westwood were to come through and win this game? Makes you wonder, these 5 players that aren't playing right now for various reasons, would they be able to come play tomorrow? Would they be able to play on Saturday?
The closer you get to $2 million, more likely it is you find a flight. Is that the situation? All right, now it's a 3-point lead for the LA Cheaters. Ball drifts out to Matt Shaw. Underneath, the Flacqui contested, goes over the 7-footer, Keith Kloss. Hinkle a drive. Nice leave, and Kloss banks it home.
Still looks good for 43, I'll tell you that. Great thing about the 7'3" center is that he knocks down 3-point shots too.
He can hit it from deep. We saw him during warm-ups too. He was launching.
I mean, at his age now, he probably doesn't want to bang down low inside so much as he does want to take some open outside threes. And he's capable.
Elijah Stewart missed on the 3. Lockquist contested down low, and the foul is going to go on Kloss. Heading to the line, Ernest Lockquist, TBT rookie here in 2019. According to our score sheet, they put that foul on Stewart. I thought they had put it on Kloss, but if it's on Stewart, that's his third. Something to keep an eye on. Lockquist hits them both. And sub coming in, Will Davis will re-enter the fray.
Will Davis is a player. Such a good motor. One of the best shot blockers to ever come out of UC Irvine. Actually, he ranks first. You got to remember, Mamadou Njai, 7'6", was there 3 years. And he was right there neck and neck with Will Davis II over who was going to be first and second. But he left all-time leader in blocks, second in rebounds, and 8th in points in school history. Well, let's see. Did Keith Kloss foul here? Great move. I don't see any contact. I think he just lost the ball.
I think you're right. I think they had it right on the board. It was correctly called against Elijah Stewart, coming in from the help side.
Well, pay attention to number 7, Will Davis II, for the LA Cheaters. He is good on both ends of the floor. He's kind of got that cat-like quickness on the defensive end. He's active, he's rangy. And he's been playing in the G League as well as Greece since he graduated from UC Irvine 4 years ago.
Right away, he called for him, and he comes through. He's into double figures now with 10.
Played for the Long Island Nets a year ago. He's also played for the team up in Reno.
In and out on the three-point attempt for Lee. Still kind of a two-man show for the Sons of Westwood. LA Cheaters a much more balanced attack. Driving a nice pass underneath, but the lay-in won't find its way through for Gerard.
See the suffocating defense.
Numbers for the Sons of Westwood. Will take a 3 because it's 2019 and that's how basketball is played now. Get lucky with the ball falling into a Lockquist's hands, and he puts it through. He's got 8.
I'll tell you, LA Cheaters have really lost momentum that they had early in the first quarter. I mean, they came out swarming, and they were using their depth. Sons of Westwood with this zone defense. It's changed the complex of the game. It's actually slowed down the game a little bit.
We got a timeout on the floor. A one-point contest between LA Cheaters and Sons of Westwood. Who's going to take one step towards $2 million? Throughout the basketball tournament, you'll see some of the most original uniforms in sports. Be sure to check them out over at tbtgear.com and treat yourself to some official TBT apparel. Walking in here to Maverick Center earlier today, or just outside of Salt Lake City, there were a lot of jerseys with that big F logo for Team Fredette. Yeah. That's going to be one of the popular ones to come out of Salt Lake City.
I like the uniforms. The TBT uniforms are nice, man. I don't know if you, what would you call it? Would you call the uniforms dope or would you call them lit? You tell me. It's a Sam Farber terminology.
I'm going to have to think about that one. It's kind of a good opportunity to, reimagine a classic logo. You got your UCLA alums here with Sons of Westwood. Got the big Bruin logo on the shorts. Some good looks.
I agree.
Sons of Westwood hanging with this LA Cheaters squad. It's a 1-point game right now, primarily doing it through the free throw line. They've gone 9 for 9 from the charity stripe, and combination of their zone defense and just smart defense overall, they've avoided fouling. And the Cheaters have not been to the free throw line yet. Jordan Adams working it down low. 2.5 minutes left here in our first half action. Empty possession for the Sons of Westwood.
They got to do more of that. They got to push, push, push. Good pass by Ware down inside to Davis.
Just won't go down. A lid on the rim there for Will Davis, the second. 8 points in the first quarter. He's been held to just 2 here in the second.
This 2-3 zone utilized by the Sons of Westwood has given LA Cheaters some issues.
Nice job underneath. Jordan Adams' first bucket of the second quarter. He's your leading scorer now with 13, and the Sons of Westwood have the lead.
The concern coming into the game for Sons of Westwood was, will they have the wind to withstand the entire course of the game? Right now, they're doing fine. And when you play zone defense, oftentimes you're still playing aggressive defense, but you're not running around the floor as much, so it does save a little bit of energy. It's rebounding. Wow. Rebounding that becomes the issue. Jordan Adams with a big shot.
Now he gets a steal. 16 points for Jordan Adams. Sets up the break, and Sons of Westwood turn it over. Under 90 seconds to play in the first half. We'll be talking big picture. Who's headed to Chicago during the intermission? Favorite story is Jackson, Tennessee, the underdogs, the 8 seed making it on, but seen some really good teams. Loyalty is Love, largely a Kentucky alumni team, made it out of Lexington. Carmen's crew, mostly a Ohio State alumni team. They make it out of Columbus.
So does that mean that a Utah team is going to make it out of Salt Lake City?
It could be.
We got 2 left, don't we? Team for
Jackson, Tennessee, playing in Memphis, that's kind of a home turf situation.
That's 3.
I don't know if Team Hines was necessarily all North Carolina guys. I'd have to look a little deeper.
Well, I tell you what, you got the Utah Stallions, and you got Team Fredette. And I tell you, Team Utah, I really felt they should have won that game last game. Great job by Eberline Drive to keep pushing forward, get through the adversity, and win that game on a buzzer-beating shot.
3 ball goes down. We're down to our final possession here in the first half. Sons of Westwood with the lead. 40-38.
Got about a 1-second differential on the shot clock.
Cedric Bearfield, a sharpshooter with the basketball in hand. Comes off the screen, trying to drive, lost the handle, a turnover. Run out, Malcolm Lee lets it go, beating the buzzer, had more time than he thought, and doesn't end up putting it through. He's used to seeing the clock above the rim, and he didn't know where to look.
Exactly, the shot clocks are in the corners closest to the bench. How about Sons of Westwood with a 2-point lead with a 6-man roster and 5 of their players missing? Great basketball by the LA Cheaters, but Sons of Westwood not going away with that 2-3 zone.
16 for Jordan Adams to lead the way. Sons of Westwood 2-point lead at half in our round 1 action of TBT. Here in Salt Lake City, Sons of Westwood lead the LA Cheaters by 2 at halftime of this round 1 game. TBT 2019, $2 million at stake. 8 spots available in Chicago. Only 1 team will emerge from this bracket. 1 will come from Wichita as well. They've got action already going over there. We'll review in a moment. But here's a look at who's filled in the championship week bracket so far. Carmen's crew, the Ohio State alumni team. Loyalty is love, largely a Kentucky alumni squad. They have already punched their tickets, but the big story, Jackson, Tennessee underdogs, an 8 seed, making it out of their region and on to Chicago.
Well, here's what I like about the Wichita Regional. In the TBT this year, there are 23 alumni teams. Well, 5 of them are coming from Wichita. Marquette, Wichita State, Kansas, Colorado, and Kansas State. This is another loaded region.
And this bracket right now also in play, Wichita Regional. They are going right now over on ESPN. Self-made, a Kansas alumni squad taking on Sideline Cancer. ESPN put out kind of a ranking of all 64 teams in the TBT for 2019, and they were very high on Self-made. In fact, they were the highest ranked 3 seed in the entire bracket. They were put higher than some 1 seeds in this thing. So this is a big surprise to see Sideline Cancer up 11 right now.
Sideline Cancer, one of the original TBT teams. They got some really good players on that team. Marcus Keene, member Central Michigan. He was a leading scorer in the NCAA a couple years ago. You also have some other players from Fresno State, George Washington. They're loaded this year. They're getting better and better.
We almost got a big surprise earlier here today. Everline Drive survived Team Utah. And we've got a tight one right now as things roll on in TBT. Sons of Westwood shorthanded, but somehow staying in front of the LA Cheaters. 40-38 our score as we're getting ready for the second half here in round one of the basketball tournament circa 2019. Sam Farber, Richie Schuler here. Richie, there's a lot of reasons why Sons of Westwood should not be in this game. Only 6 players to go out there and battle with, but a lot of talent on this UCLA alumni squad. They're making it work for them.
And LA Cheaters are well coached, and they do a really good job. They're organized, but Sons of Westwood is countering everything with that 2-3 zone. And LA Cheaters, they want to play fast. Sons of Westwood making them play slow, especially on the offensive end, because they're running a 2-3 zone.
Absolutely. Head coach Martin Bahar doing a fantastic job with the Sons of Westwood. Let's take a look at our first half highlights for this one. LA Cheaters, the Drew League star team, versus the Sons of Westwood alumni from UCLA. And early on, it was the Cheaters that came out firing.
Well, I tell you, not a lot of three-point shots made in this game, but they hit them when it mattered, both teams. And Will Davis II getting to the layup. Here's a pair of three-pointers for you. That's from deep range. And it's going to be returned by Malcolm Lee of Sons of Westwood, who has 11 points. Little step-back jumper. And so a lot of good offense on both sides of the floor, but it really comes down to Jordan Adams of Sons of Westwood with 16 points, Malcolm Lee with 11. But the Cheaters not going anywhere. Floaters, the dunks.
In terms of pace, you kind of nailed it. Sons of Westwood slowing things down with the zone, making the Cheaters do individual moves to make some special buckets. But on the other side, Jordan Adams having a big performance. Biggest thing, it's not on this board, it's the free throws. Sons of Westwood have been able to play some solid defense without fouling. And on the other side, the Cheaters have sent the Sons of Westwood to the line for 9 free throws. They've made them all.
See, that's a big difference in the game. Sons of Westwood, they're going up against a man-to-man defense, so there's more likely they're going to get fouled. And they have been, and they've converted. Those 9 points at the foul line have given them this lead.
There's Martin Bahar talking to the Sons of Westwood. Martin's day job in basketball, he's an assistant for USC.
And he's a team of the alumni UCLA coach.
That's right. They also have a Temple Owl or two on the roster for Sons of Westwood. So it's not entirely UCLA alums.
You know, that's like being Mike Krzyzewski and coaching a North Carolina alumni team. Isn't that a little bit different?
I suppose it'd be an assistant. So even, but the assistants are all head coaches somewhere else too now at this point. We got a lot of fun in store for the late session here in Salt Lake City as well. Team Fredette, which is not entirely BYU alumni, but there's quite a few former Cougars on that squad. We'll take on another Drew League team, the City Team Blazers, and then challenge ALS, a historic franchise within TBT, taking on the Utah State alums, the Stallions.
Well, let's see how this one plays out right here, because the LA Cheaters are going to keep going up against a 2-3 zone. Did they spend time at the half talking about how they're going to attack that 2-3 zone? And did they talk about trying to speed up the pace of the play again so it's more their style of play, not Sons of Westwood? Sons of Westwood has dictated the tempo of this game thus far.
Opening shot is a miss for the Cheaters. And Sons of Westwood gonna, you would imagine, continue to play a slower brand of basketball here.
So it's a grind out style. When you're playing with just a few players, you have to play a kind of a slower, grinded out style of play. And the great thing about it is LA Cheaters, I mean, they're a team that want to get up and down. That's Drew League basketball. And they're super organized, and they have the athletes to get up and down. Sons of Westwood has stymied them and have made it very difficult for them to play their style. They're already set back on defense right now. LA Cheaters have to get into offense and go up against a 2-3 zone, and it makes you take shots like that. Now, that is a player right there that can knock him down, but can he make them consistently at a high percentage?
LA Cheaters move back into the lead on the Cedric Bearfield 3. He's made 2 buckets the whole game. They've both been threes. Used to do that for the University of Utah. It's a little funny to me when you see, you know, there's a Utah alumni team. How did you not say, well, maybe Cedric Bearfield's a guy we want to have hang out with us some more?
And you have 1 of 3 options. Team Fredette, Utah Stallions, Team Utah.
Well, you know, listening to some of the players doing interviews, apparently If you went to Utah or Utah State, you might be rivals with each other, but you're really a rival with BYU. That's the team you don't like.
Well, that's Team Fredette, right?
That's well, again, they're not officially a BYU alumni squad, but coach is a former BYU head coach. It's named after a BYU legend. The top scorer is a BYU legend.
Yep. I'm really excited about that game. I'm really excited about seeing Dave Rose coach Team Fredette. Dave Rose is one of the best college basketball coaches in the entire nation.
Just retired. I mean, just got done at BYU.
And he's only 61. I could see him going back into coaching if he got another opportunity.
And he was a darn good player in his own right.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Played at University of Houston.
Phi Slamma Jamma, right?
That's right. He played with Hakeem. And
Clyde Drexler.
Clyde Drexler.
Why don't they get a Houston? Why doesn't Drexler and Olajuwon play for the Houston alumni team? Why not? We have Keith Kloss out here, and he's holding his own at 43 years old.
They're calling the foul, and they called it a little bit late. They're going to wipe the basket off the board for Elijah Stewart. Foul is on Matt Shaw. First personal on him. Elijah Stewart misses the first free throw. 6'5", 195-pound former USC Trojan who scored 1,400 points in his Trojans career. Quite a few against the Bruins. Makes 1 of 2 at the line. All even at 42. Adams.
Quick trigger. Quick trigger. Jordan Adams. He went to the NBA. You talked about it earlier, a first-round pick. And he's now continuing in the summer, finishing his degree at UCLA. He only played 2 years before he got drafted. He's determined, going to get that degree. He was the first player, Jordan Adams, to commit to Sons of Westwood. Here it is, quick trigger, Jordan Adams, NBA range. He's used to that. Played 2 seasons for the Memphis Grizzlies. His chronic knee injuries took him out of it. And he's trying to work his way back in.
Ernest Aflakpui with his first bucket of the second half. It's a 5-point edge right now for the Sons of Westwood. A 5-0 spurt.
That's good basketball. That's good basketball. Hit that high post against a 2-3 zone, and it's a high-low. Just have to be able to finish down inside. And this is incredible. Nobody who'd look at the rosters would think that Sons of Westwood would have a chance in this game due to the fact that they're decimated. 6 players. LA Cheaters with all the experience they have. I mean, Sons of Westwood has some ballers out there, but still.
Will Davis the second. His first bucket of the second half. He leads all Cheaters with 14. Shaw might have gotten away with a foot shuffle there.
I think 2 in this possession we've gotten away with. Or they've gotten away with here.
Hoist off the front iron. Rebound was in the clutches of the Cheaters, but Dan Gerard could not hang on. 47-44, Sons of Westwood leading. Have to win 6 games to be crowned TBT champ. Win that $2 million prize. John Mugar, the CEO of the basketball tournament, has seen this thing grow and grow and grow. And for you and me, Rich, it's our second year involved, and we can already see the difference in terms of, you know, before there were probably 85, 90% of the teams were all high-quality squads. This year, there isn't a bad team in the tournament.
You're right. And we've been here for the beginning of the Elam ending, which started last year. The target score, which we'll see, we're about a quarter away from that.
I think we are going to see the Elam ending make an appearance at some level of, common basketball. You're going to see it either all the way through AAU, all the way through high school, and maybe one day we'll see it, at least for regular season or something, some tournaments, maybe an NIT, get an experiment.
Well, I tell you, it brings a completely different dynamic. Oh, here we go. That's just a mental error on LA Cheaters.
Adams will take it.
But when you play the Elam ending, we saw it last game. Team Utah played it like it was a completely different style of play. And as a result, I think it lost them the basketball game. They were playing tight. They weren't playing loose. What got them the lead to even be able to have the target score? That's an and one. That's a continuation. I like that. But I felt like when Team Utah, they get that target score up. Look at this hesitation by Bearfield. Takes the hit, knocks down the shot. I felt like when they got to the Elam ending, and they were 8 points away, and the target score was 12 points away for Eberline Drive, they played different. And when they were down, when they were just had 3 more points to go before the Elam ending target score, they were just jacking threes. The layups were wide open. They were contested threes. And it just didn't feel like they played the same way they played when the clock was ticking. So psychologically, mentally, I think it makes a difference for some teams.
Foul's going to go on Van Gerard. First personal on the former Cal State Dominguez Hill star. Second year in TBT, first with the Cheaters. Good strip by Bearfield. Taken right back by Lee. Lee gathers and finishes.
Malcolm Lee played in Greece just a year ago. Second round pick by the Bulls back in 2011.
Played in the NBA from 2011 to 2015.
Says that Kobe Bryant is the greatest player of all time. Being a Los Angeles guy, models his game after him. Check this out. Biggest mentor is his sister, Chandrika Lee Gertz, who was very close to making the WNBA, suffered 2 ACLs, one in Pepperdine, one when she was in WNBA training camp, and always looked up to her to guidance because he's had to overcome multiple injuries and surgeries throughout his career. You wonder, would Malcolm Lee still be in the NBA or had a longer career in the NBA if he hadn't got injured so much? But here's another great player, NBA guy, in Jordan Adams, who is a walking bucket. 22 points a game last year, 6 boards for Sons of Westwood.
He's got 24 already in this one.
He is a player. 1,100 points at UCLA, not in a career, in 2 years before he got drafted.
He was the second leading scorer in TBT last year, and he's ahead of pace already this year. Now, granted, that was an average score because he only played in a couple of games, but
sure.
In terms of talent, he's one of the most talented players in this tournament. Here's a steal. Gerard jumped the lane, and he'll lay it in for 2. That ends the run for the Sons of Westwood. And he gets another steal. Gerard, another takeaway. Gathers, lays it in, and the foul.
He's a walking glove. He gets steals. Incredible. Van Gerard didn't play last year, but he's played in Japan, Mexico, Germany, and you see he just scored 1 basket, gets the steal, goes in the other direction, nice Euro step, and now he has an and one opportunity for the LA Cheaters.
TBT 2019, all 64 teams playing for their shot at $2 million. Here's a look at how Sons of Westwood would divvy up their $2 million sent with Zell. And they've been very even, $180,000 for everyone. Coach Martin Bahar, Jonathan Gilmore, Grant Catani, the GM, and each and every one of the players would get $180,000, although not as many players currently with the Sons of Westwood as were on the original roster. So maybe they'll change up how Zell sends it out.
The head coach isn't even here. So, I mean, without the head coach and multiple players, now you're going to raise that, aren't you? Or do you get money for not being here?
If you're playing per point, Jordan Adams is getting about 60% of the money.
Well, I don't know if they'll do that. But I think they should certainly erase the people that aren't playing in the games or coaching the games.
I think it's fair.
I still can't get over the fact that there's a USC coach coaching the UCLA team. Also, think it's very cool at the same time.
Fouls on Charles Hinkle, his second.
Jordan Adams, UCLA by way of Atlanta, Georgia, and has started a foundation giving back to young kids in Atlanta. You gotta love to see that. Guys who have a lot of success. You know how many young people look up to a player like Adams, great ball player, and now you got a foundation trying to help those young people, the youth. It's awesome.
56-51 the score. Sons of Westwood on top.
Look at the way the ball stays outside the three. That's what you want. Even if that shot dropped, you still want to make them take contested three-point shots when you're in a 2-3 zone.
Corner three on the way, yes! Matt Shaw. First bucket of the second half. An answer on the other end from Elijah Stewart. Stewart now with 6. Cheaters not finding their offense all that consistently. Sons of Westwood just had these spurts.
Well, they've slowed down the number of possessions, but with the zone. And they're doing a great job at getting back in their zone defense in making the LA Cheaters grind it out. Look at that defense by Lee.
Malcolm Lee jumps the lane. He's going to go against 4 Cheaters. Dishes out to the trailer, Adams. Unable to knock down the triple. 5-point lead for the Sons of Westwood. Made it to the second round last year. I was back in Los Angeles trying to take their act on the road here and take down a Drew League team in the LA Cheaters. Gerard fouled on his way in. He'll head to the line.
There's going to be 2 free throws from here on out for both teams now for the rest of the quarter.
Gerard, first action in TBT since 2015. He played for H Squad, and he averaged 20 points per game. So this is a guy that could fill it up.
There's another great success story. Played at Cal State Dominguez
Hills.
Dominguez Hills, I should say, sorry. Which is a non-D1. And the great thing about that is, as a senior, it's 5 points a game off the bench, 4 boards a game. He's worked himself into playing professional basketball. Not too long ago, he averaged 27.5 points a game, 13 boards in Germany. And now he's playing super high-level basketball. He's one of those players that just gets better and better and better as he blossoms and matures.
Traveling. It's one of the great things about something like TBT. It gives a place to showcase guys who maybe were late bloomers. There's so much focus on, you know, the lottery picks in the NBA have to be guys who were, you know, rated so as sophomores in high school. And it ignores the amount of development that takes place between the ages of 16 and 23, 24, 25 when we start to see guys emerge here in TBT.
And then you have people that call those players busts, right? It's one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is, say you're a top 5 pick, but you don't really have a great NBA career. For the rest of your life, you're labeled an NBA bust. Well, I don't think the players are a bust. They're not the ones who picked themselves in the top 5. The bust is the management who picked them.
Great acrobatic lay-in for the cheaters from Charles Hinkle. Former Vanderbilt and American college basketball player. We got a foul on the other side. This is going to go against Cedric Bearfield. Here's Hinkle's handiwork.
Yeah, good move by Gerard. I mean, the way he gathered his feet and was able to take that reverse jumper. Well, that's Hinkle. The lefty. Played in Argentina a year ago.
To the line, Malcolm Lee, who was playing in Greece last year. Give us your rundown of top international leagues. What, if we're not seeing they were a G League All-Star or they got NBA time, what league do you want to see on the list?
A lot of it's Europe. It's Spain. It's France, Italy, Turkey. Some of the best leagues in basketball. And I'm probably missing some too, and a lot of it's up to opinion, but man, those are just a step. A lot of those leagues in those countries are just a step under the NBA. And a lot of West Coasters will go to Asia. It's closer. But I think the best basketball is in Europe, to be honest.
Cedric Bearfield's having himself a nice quarter. 8 points here in the third, and he's got the LA Cheaters within a bucket. 61-60, Sons of Westwood with the lead. Kickball here going against the LA Cheaters. We've seen Martin Bahar put together a really good strategy for a shorthanded Sons of Westwood team, going to zone, slowing down the game. For the LA Cheaters, what's your counter?
Well, I think you have to speed it up. And, you know, early on in the game, they were going full court on made shots. They were making a shot, they were going into a 2-2-1 press. And then they were trapping at half court at times. They've also done some run and jump trapping in the press. I'd like to see some more of that again, because that's how you speed up the game.
Jordan Adams left alone for 3 and makes it pay. He's got 28. Unreal. Davis. They're going to wave off the bucket. Offensive foul.
All right, well, that gives Sons of Westwood just a tick under 4 seconds. The opportunity to extend this lead. We're not far from the Elam ending.
4 minutes away. Lee. From just past half court, couldn't get it to go down. And that is it for the third quarter. 64-60, Sons of Westwood in front. Jordan Adams averaged 22 a game last year. He's got 29 through 3 quarters. Can he send the UCLA alums into round 2? TBT 2019, the $2 million winner-take-all basketball tournament is presented by Puma Basketball. All of our players today here in Salt Lake City throughout the basketball tournament 2019 wearing their Puma uniforms. Sons of Westwood in the UCLA blue and gold, LA Cheaters in the grays today. And who will get to wear their uniforms in round 2 is the question. Eberline Drive awaits the winner of this contest. 64-60, Sons of Westwood lead it. Cedric Bearfield will cut into the advantage, dropping down a 3. Former Utah Ute now has 14 points. And another turnover, it looks like. Yes, takeaway for the Cheaters.
See, I feel like you're seeing a little bit more intensity on the defensive end of the LA Cheaters. And they're making Sons of Westwood play a little faster than they like to play.
Another deep ball goes down.
I'm calling that a 2-pointer. His foot was on the line. They're playing the deep 3 here.
16 now for Cedric Bearfield. 13 of which have come in the second half. And now an offensive foul for an illegal screen.
See, I'm telling you, Cheaters, when they play faster, Sons of Westwood makes mistakes, and they don't have enough bodies to make too many mistakes. So now the former walk-on comes in the game, Gerald Smith.
LA Cheaters starting this fourth quarter on a nice spurt. 5-0 for the Cheaters. Baseline pass, Gerard up and under, making a 7-0 run.
LA Cheaters trying to make their case for the second round. Ultimately, everybody wants to get to Chicago next week.
On about, check that. That's a Flockweed working down low and couldn't get it to go down, but ends up being fouled. And if you're looking towards round 2 and what their advantage would be, I think for LA Cheaters, they haven't necessarily shot the 3 great today, but they've got 2 lethal 3-point shooters in Stewart and Bearfield, who are capable of knocking anyone out of the tournament. And Sons of Westwood, Jordan Adams can just score.
Yeah.
He is a Jimmer Fredette-like player in this tournament.
And you're in Utah saying that.
I felt that's why it would be a good comparison.
You better hope nobody in Salt Lake City knows where you're sleeping tonight.
A Flockweed to the line to shoot 2. First one rattles out. And you know what? I don't get credit for jinxing it, so that's good. That's the first missed free throw for the Sons of Westwood. They were 16 of 16 till that one. Jordan Adams knocks it out of bounds. They went 16 for 16, then missed 2 in a row.
Critical time for Sons of Westwood right now. They can't break, but you know, you got to keep it close until you get to the under 4-minute mark when the target score of the Elam ending comes into play. You know, add 8 to the team that's winning, and that's the target score. And then, like we saw in the previous game, some players will play that differently, and there's different strategies to playing a target score, like playing a pickup basketball game rather than playing the clock. So it'll be interesting to see. This game remains tight until that 4-minute mark. You know, how will these teams strategize? Will they move those chess pieces in that Elam ending time?
Looks like we're gonna have a timeout here taken by LA Cheaters with a 3-point lead, 67-64. Sons of Westwood, Jordan Adams has really been the star, but their prowess at the free throw line really has made a difference throughout this game. If that starts to disappear a bit for them, that might make things difficult, but of course Jordan Adams is capable of saving them 29 points on the afternoon. He's knocked down 3 threes. He has been lethal at the free throw line. He's been lethal in every way.
Sons of Westwood, you say, getting a lot of their points at the free throw line. Jordan Adams with his 29 points. There's 2 right there. Seeing his ability to score the basketball. That was a mid-range shot a moment ago. Now a three-pointer, another turnaround mid-range shot, and a deep, deep NBA-level three-point shot. Jordan Adams is a player.
And look, part of the reason TBT has become so popular is it's an opportunity for guys who are not in the NBA to show why they should be. Jordan Adams is 25 years old. This is not a guy whose best years of basketball are necessarily, you know, 8-9 years in his rearview mirror. This is a guy who physically is pretty darn close to his prime.
He is an NBA talent who has been derailed by injuries. Played in the NBA, but these chronic right knee injuries has given him problems. And a lot of teams don't want to have a guy that might be able to get injured mid-year on you. Unfortunately for him.
7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, which means we're 3 minutes away from the Elam ending coming into effect.
Now, the Elam ending, if you haven't seen it before, you'll wonder why. How does this work? Well, the whole reason is Nick Elam, the guy who invented the Elam ending, he showed by statistics and tracking games over the course of different seasons that there's less stalling at the end of a game. The end of a game takes a lot less time if you give a target score rather than having teams stall at the end of a game. And it certainly makes it a lot more exciting at the end of gameplay because every game ends on a winning shot.
No doubt about it. And we are both huge basketball fans. I would love for every game to go on as many overtimes as you like. But I will admit, when teams are just hacking each other for the last 2 minutes of a game, that's not the kind of longer basketball game we necessarily want.
Right. Well, just compare it to the last 4 minutes of college basketball games. The average college basketball game is a touch over 13 minutes in the last 4 minutes. And the
Real
TBT.
quick, what a play by Gerald Smith. Saves that ball for going out of bounds, blows through the Zell sign, then stands up, sits in the corner, they get it to him, and he hits a three.
First bucket of the game.
Not a bad way to get your day started. Ties it at 67. Adams goes through the defender, no call, gets his own rebound and finishes.
Look at that. Jordan Adams again, he's over the 30 mark. But last 4 minutes in a college game, 13 minutes a game. TBT, 6.5.
I'll take it. Off the miss, Gerard rebound and putback. And I mentioned it last game, I'll say it throughout the weekend. I think this would be a perfect addition to high school basketball. I think if you put it in right now at high school or, you know, AAU basketball, you're going to take away free throw shooting from an age group of players that really are not that good at shooting free throws yet, which maybe is the point why you're fouling them, but that, for me, it just creates boring basketball and encourages young players to learn how to make a game-winning shot, which is a skill you want them to have.
And what's cool about it is a number of things. Exciting endings, less time, all that kind of stuff. But it's like playground basketball. It's like a pickup game. It's like a pickup game. Hey, we're going to 11. Hey, we're going to 15. We're going to whatever target score we have. And that's 8 more points than what the winning team already has.
Tied at 69 right now. A miss for the Sons of Westwood. Rebound of Flakpui. Loose ball, and we're going to have a foul on Sons of Westwood. Good hustle on both ends, but Lee ends up going through Charles Hinkle.
Think these teams want it? 69 apiece with second round on the line here in the Salt Lake City Regional. I mean, the Sons of Westwood are the 4 seed, LA Cheaters the 5, and with full rosters. You know, Sons of Westwood missing 5 players. I think Sons of Westwood, certainly the more talented team, but depleted roster here. Depleted. And they are right here in the game, which is amazing. It's outstanding.
Great job by the TBT crew working here on the floor. And hats off to all the team members, volunteers for our crew here, helping put these games up on ESPN Plus. Watch ESPN app, and to all the folks here putting this on here in Salt Lake City. A lot of work goes into making this 6 years ago dream the reality it is today. Drive by Hinkle, nice dump off. Davis from short range puts it through. 16 from Will Davis. He really propelled the Cheaters in the first half. Now has put them back in front here in the fourth quarter. Just a minute away from the Elam ending coming into effect. Lee, step back long 2. It's a miss, and the rebound, Elijah Stewart. Stewart allowed, Gerard collects and then has it destroyed by Jordan Adams.
And he gives the Dikembe Mutombo finger point to the camera. Not in my house.
Timeout's going to be taken by Sons of Westwood, trailing by 2. 31 points for Jordan Adams. He has been special. TheTournament.com is your place for all things TBT. Follow your favorite team throughout the tournament. Be sure to check the schedule for week 3 of TBT. That would be the championship phase as things go to Chicago. It starts exactly 1 week from today. Who will emerge here from Salt Lake City and be in that final 8? Will it be Eberline Drive, who escaped with a come-from-behind round 1 victory? They were the runners-up last year. Could it be Challenge ALS, who we'll see in our next game? They are a team that's been to the championship contest as well. Team Fredette will play in our nightcap tonight. Might it be one of the 2 we see in front of us, Sons of Westwood or LA Cheaters?
Do you think Overseas Elite can win for a 5th straight year?
I mean, I don't think we'd bet against them at this point. They've won it 4 times in a row. They're returning a lot of guys.
But their roster's not quite the same.
True.
And they got one main player that I think, wow, now they've really extended that lead to 5. Got one main player that's not playing who's been a part of it all these years, and just wonder how will they recover from that, or and will they still have, you know, a great roster that propels them? They have the swagger and confidence, that's for sure.
Charles Hinkle making that last 3, making it a 5-point game. Now the lay-in, Cedric Bearfield, and the LA Cheaters are pulling away at a perfect time right in front of the Elam ending.
Just 1 minute to spare, too. Or, just in the last minute, this has been going on right before the target score Elam ending. Really taking control of this game. Look at this. This is a complete turn of events. Nice pass.
Bearfield behind the back. Give him an assist. We are officially in the Elam ending zone, so the next whistle will set it up. Adams hits a 3 in front of it. That's 3 extra points they don't have to find later on. And a timeout taken by the LA Cheaters. They would have wished that came a little bit earlier, or they could have called a little bit earlier, but the Elam ending magic number is going up on the board. 86 is your target number. The Elam ending is in effect in Salt Lake City. Time for the Elam ending, the extra special ingredient that makes TBT the great tournament it is. First dead ball under 4 minutes turns off the game clock. You add 8 to the leading team score, and that is your target number. First to reach it wins. For this contest between UCLA alumni squad, Sons of Westwood, and the Drew League star team, the LA Cheaters, that magic number is 86.
Well, it's important that the LA Cheaters just continue playing basketball. Just pretend the clock is still ticking. When you get to 86, you win the basketball game, but don't freeze up. Don't be stiff. Play your game. Don't worry about what you got to get to. And don't allow Sons of Westwood to claw back into this game.
Saw in our last matchup, Team Utah had multiple opportunities at a game-winning shot and kept going for the 3 and missing, and allowed Eberline Drive to come away with a win. See how this one plays out. Nice drive, and the up and under move is good. Gerald Smith, just his second bucket of the game, but it cuts into the deficit.
He's been making big shots when it counts. Hit that 3 a little bit ago, now the 2. And look at this, the offensive foul going the other direction on Bearfield.
It's his 3rd.
Some wizardry coming from Westwood right now.
Now a steal the other way. Cedric Bearfield trying to go coast to coast. Hesitation move finds Gerard. Cycles out for the sharpshooter. Stewart.
Good basketball right there. Don't have anything in the inside. Kick out to an open 3, and that's why you have to streak the sidelines if you're a shooter.
Cheaters now 5 points away. And they're going to foul, and one opportunity. Elijah Stewart was trying to foul on the floor, and they grant continuation. 4th foul on Elijah Stewart.
Interesting here, the LA Cheaters only have 2 fouls. So they have 2 more to give if they feel like Sons of Westwood have an open shot. You might be able to foul to avoid the shot if it's not in the shooting motion, obviously.
Flockweed personally playing for $180,000 in TBT 2019. He hits the and 1. 17 for the rookie in the basketball tournament. $81-77 our score. 86 is the magic number. First team to reach it will win. And we've got a charge. Well taken. Flockweed once again. Gerard's 3rd personal. So if you're Sons of Westwood, you're 9 points away. In your opinion, just keep playing basketball, right, Richie?
Yeah, you got to keep playing basketball, but I mean, Sons of Westwood, Jordan Adams and Malcolm Lee, I think are going to have to make some big plays. And we've seen a lot of Jordan Adams in the 30s now. But these 2 players, I mean, they've been filling up the box score.
Got a break in the action. They're going to review. They're going to review the charge. If they called it because of being in the restricted area, that might be reviewable.
Well,
now they're going away from the monitor and over to the scorer's table.
When the Elam ending target score is at 4 points or under, they can look at the monitor. And they can
We're
decide.
at 5.
Okay. Well, let's see. Gerard. I mean, it looks to me that that right heel is touching the line from that angle, and if that's the case, that is a blocked foul. And LA Cheaters are trying to implore officials, look at the board. He showed the replay. Veteran Keith Kloss trying to show the official right there on the court during the timeout. I thought it was a block.
Sons of Westwood end up throwing it away anyways. LA Cheaters are 5 points from round 2 and a date with Eberline Drive.
That's
and
a violation.
It's over and back.
Sons of Westwood not going away. Sam, the team that's leading the last 2 games, are they continuing to play their style of play during the Elam ending? I feel like they're stymied. I feel like the Elam ending changes their psyche a little bit.
Jordan Adams fouled on a 3-point attempt. Again on Van Gerard. I tend to agree with you.
You spend a lot of your practice time on whatever team you're on trying to prepare for late game situations with the clock. Now there's no clock. All that goes out the window, and people forget to continue playing basketball. It's like because you haven't practiced it enough, you don't know or don't feel confident in the late game situations. It's basketball. You just play to a certain point.
Jordan Adams' winning share would be sent with Zell. He's earned way more than $180,000 of that $2 million. He's been their prime player. 37 of the team's 80 points, and he's got them within 1 of the Cheaters and within 6 of winning it.
Oh.
Foul's going to go here against Gerald Smith, and that's the 15th foul, so bonus situation from here on out.
And you gotta expect he's gonna make at least one of these 2, if not both. Make both. Now you're 3 points away from the target score.
Which can be a dangerous place to be, as we saw in the last game.
I'm telling you, Team Utah, I really felt they lost that game with some shot selection and not playing comfortably within the Elam ending time.
Fairfield goes 1 for 2. So the Cheaters are 4 away. Sons of Westwood are 6 away. Malcolm Lee into the lane. A whistle, and can't complete the bucket, so he'll shoot 2.
Good drive down the lane by Malcolm Lee. It's so close to making this shot. So a chance to tie it for Malcolm Lee. You always say, hey, you got to play the clock at the end of a game. Well, here you got to play the score. Play the target score. I mean, all momentum has now shifted to Sons of Westwood. LA Cheaters going to be playing on their heels. One big stop right here. All right, Sons of Westwood going to go back in their 2-3 zone. One stop here. And boy, Sons of Westwood's looking really good.
We're tied at 82. It's now a game to 4.
Okay, they're man-to-man, looking to trap the ball screen.
Fairfield gets around it. Nice dump off Davis. The reverse lay-in. And they're a bucket away. Pivotal possession here for Sons of Westwood. They almost turned it over. It's going to be a foul called. And the question is it loose ball or is it a player control foul?
2 shots, they say. Hell. Loose ball going after it, calling a foul on Smith. They call him push.
I think that's a really good call. Elijah Stewart to the line.
Winning on free throws. A year ago with the Elam ending, 19% of the time a game was won on a free throw. It's rare, but it could happen right here.
Oh. It will not end on this trip to the line. And Sons of Westwood will use the timeout. Does it add to the pressure when you're 2 points away from winning it versus with the clock just winding down? Ponder that while we take a listen inside the huddle with the LA Cheaters, presented by Puma Basketball.
Now we come down, make a bucket, we go all in and win. That's what it's going to do. But you got to have pride on the defensive end. No three. No three. Okay? Talk on defense. No and one. Everybody got to help everybody. When you stay on number one. All the screen. Hey, make them miss one. Make them miss one. Get easy one. Hey, when you tell them roll somebody else, you just do it. All right? CD4, right? Got it. Let's go.
In the Huddle is presented by Puma Basketball. I'll ask it again, Richie. Is there more pressure when you are at the line and you know if you make X number of free throws, you win it? Or is it there's 2 seconds left and you're at the line? Does it change at all the game winningness of the free throws?
Quite honestly, I've never thought about it. I don't know if there's any difference there. Pressure is pressure. Now here, are the LA Cheaters going to foul here? Because they're a point away from winning. If they foul, they put them at the free throw line.
I don't know that you would, because Sons of Westwood are 4 away, not 3.
Okay.
So they can't win on this possession.
But LA Cheaters are a point away, so you could foul them. Oh, wow.
Big three.
Wow. 1 point away for both teams.
Next point wins. Just like our last game. How do you like TBT 2019? Who will be the hero? Bearfield, step back. Tip slam for the win! Oh my gosh, Elijah Stewart with the tip slam to cheat elimination and send the LA Cheaters to round 2.
Wow. And that's why you go after offensive rebounds. Only 7% of the time a year ago did the eliminating end on a dunk. We've seen a three-point shot in the first game, and we've seen a tip jam in the other. How about that? Oh, wow, Elijah Stewart hanging on the rim saying, hello, we're going to the second round.
How sweet it is for the former Trojans to dispatch the UCLA alumni squad. You can hang on the rim all you want. No technicals coming on Elijah Stewart. He scores 16 and gives LA Cheaters another game and 1 step closer now to the $2 million grand prize at the end of TBT.
I don't know if you're going to find a better region than you are here in Salt Lake City. We've had 2 games come down to both teams a point away, and we've seen a three-pointer to win it and now a dunk to win it. Salt Lake City Regional making it happen.
Got to give a lot of credit to Sons of Westwood playing shorthanded. Only 6 guys. Jordan Adams leading the way with 37. But the LA Cheaters find a way, and the guy who put it through at the end, Elijah Stewart, will do the honors. Yes, indeed, we've got our first round 2 matchup squared away. The LA Cheaters will take on last year's runners-up, Everline Drive-In. How do you like that matchup? The sharpshooting of the Cheaters and the experience of Everline Drive.
I mean, I think you take a coin, you flip it, and that's who's going to win the game. That's going to be a fun game to call tomorrow.
Still 2 more games to come tonight. For now, for Richie Schuler and our entire crew, I'm Sam Farber saying it's been a pleasure and a privilege. LA Cheaters continue their quest to a TBT title at $2 million with an 87-85 win over the Sons of Westwood.